expecting to see from the initial bans.
Yeah, taking a little bit of time here, which I like to see out of both teams. I mean, if I'm trying to think about, what might be picked, what might be banned away, and we're going to see some standard bans like Gnar coming in. But we also, like I was mentioning, between the 280 carries, you might want to get them on something they're not comfortable on, because Kobe played Lucian in Game 2, played Corki in Game 1, a little bit of overlap between the 280 carries in terms of Corki. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of first picked or banned away. But we'll find out as time goes on.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. LeBlanc and Gnar, bans I feel like we've seen in almost every single game.
Yeah.
I mean, Gnar, it seems to be such a scary top laner for people that they're just not unwilling to play it. They don't want it in their game, and they get it out first ban. And LeBlanc, on the other side of things, in that mid lane, a real threat. An assassin who, I mean, I feel like we're going to see less of LeBlanc come the new patch where we lose our Deathfire Grasp. That's going to be a huge kind of knock to her, but we're not playing on that patch now, of course, and that's banned away just because of that scary mobile assassin in the mid lane.
And then we will have Kalista banned out on top of that. So we've seen her twice now, actually, in the League of Legends Turkey International Invitational. So really cool to see that banned away from Zeit, who, like I said before, has been really excelling lately here. And then, of course, we're going to see the Lee Sin ban taken away from Ku, one of his staple champions, one of the top 3 right now in the jungle. Why not force him on something a little bit unfamiliar? And that still leaves 2 major junglers up, Pantheon and Jarvan. You don't really know. I mean, I expect to see at least one of those 2 in this game.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Jarvan. Yeah, I know that Ku's been favouring it recently, in fact, playing it 4 times in his Black Monster Cup games most recently, and he really obviously favouring that one quite heavily. Lissandra is the final ban taken away, and that has been a pretty actually a staple ban or pick. It's almost a round. I wouldn't be surprised if it's near 100% pick or ban, and it surprises me that we're seeing Lissandra such a scary presence in that top lane. And we saw with Nasus yesterday that it can both be pretty powerful and a huge presence around the map.
Yeah, and Fabulous did play it as well in their games versus Thunderbolt Sparta. So very targeted bans here. You're seeing no mid lane bans, which we saw almost all day yesterday. Which is really cool to see here. But now the Thresh as well. So trying to take that away from Casing, trying to prevent him from, again, playing something he's a little bit more comfortable on. He played Thresh and Janna in those 2 games, previously against Atlas. But we're still going to pick up here. And again, G2, they're taking their time. We can compare them to some other teams that we've seen. And, yesterday we saw some teams just kind of instant lock because they knew exactly the one they wanted to go. But G2 trying to, be smart about it, adapt, pick what they need here. They don't want to lose the first game in this best of 3.
Yeah, it's really about starting as you mean to go on, and we talked about Jarvan pick straight away. Ku does secure that for the jungle, and as that's one's locked in. I mean, that's a very strong jungler for Ku. In my opinion, do you feel like, I mean, it's not a Lee Sin, it's not quite as present early, and I do feel like Ku is kind of one of those strong presences in the early game if he's given a champion like Lee Sin or even Pantheon, but he has opted for Jarvan.
Ku likes really mobile, annoying kind of champions like Lee Sin, who can get in the enemy jungle, steal some CS away, gank quite heavily. Jarvan facilitates the same kind of strategy in terms of you can invade really safely because you can back out with your flag and drag combo over walls and just kind of get away from the enemy jungle. Not surprised to see that pick for him. If it's not going to be Lee Sin, it's probably going to be Jarvan or Pantheon, which I wouldn't be surprised to see HWA go for here. But we're already seeing 2 picks come in here on the side of HWA.
Yeah, and 2 strong picks. We see Corki and Janna for the confirmed bot lane.
Yeah, so Corki, again, I mean, we just literally called it in the bans. We're expecting to see maybe a Corki ban or a Corki pick, and instead of G2 vouching for the early Corki pick because they won the Jarvan, they give away the Corki the other side, and of course we're going to see Lelouch on the Janna in that bottom lane, which he did of course play in one of his 2 games. So Janna Corki, a lot of poke, a lot of harassment, a lot of damage prevention with the shield, a lot of protection for Corki as well, which he's already so slippery having that 50 men on the Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Makes it really quick, really easily to escape.
Yeah, Corki's so very mobile for an AD carry. It feels like it can be difficult to gank a Corki when he's supported by such a great disengaged support as well, like Janna. In the meantime, though, Gamers2 have locked in 2 more champions for this first game. We see Graves for the AD carry role in the bot lane, and actually we do have a confirmed mid laner. Zed picked up blind, and I mean, I'm saying mid laner. We have, of course, got the potential of a Zed top, but Zed and Graves.
Let's focus on the Graves first. Let's just kind of keep our mind on terms of that. We saw Aces High use Graves.
Yeah. And
it was devastating. I mean, the amount of pure raw damage he put out was crazy. I mean, that's exactly what Graves is. He's that burst, AD caster kind of marksman for his team. Really going to be dependent on his laning phase. Graves does fairly well against Corki since he gets that passive magic-resistant armor, and Corki does magic and attack damage, so it works out really well for him. The mid lane, though, the Zed, we saw Zed yesterday. We called it perfectly. If we see Zed get fed at all in the beginning, and he can become a real threat as the game goes on. And if Perkz can do that, which that's something that Osap liked to run on his team previously, was these assassin-heavy middles, and it looks like Perkz is going to pick up that torch.
Yeah, very, very strong, very mobile AD assassin, which I think that's probably going to complement this composition as it is at the moment. You highlighted before, actually, yesterday, that when you have a Cataclysm ultimate, when you have an ultimate like Cataclysm, I should say, you really want someone who can pick off those that aren't within the ultimate, kind of basically catch the... I feel I have this image of catching the hens that are running away. You know, like these kind of... Exactly, yeah. No, but it feels like
What's in your mind?
It feels like Zed is this kind of backup. He's the bodyguard. He's basically sweeping up the errors or picking up where Ku left off.
All right, so we do see Jace and Pantheon locked on the side of HWA. A little scary here for Zed. Jace has a lot of poke. Zed can dodge really easily from it and poke a decent amount back. The only problem is it looks like WTC going to be running the exhaust. So if Zed goes in, Perkz is going to be locked down by that one, take a lot of damage, get even knocked away. It can be really tough to pull off a 1v1, but again, if he gets an early lead, he should be able to take Jace in that middle, especially if Pantheon, which was locked in, has any sort of presence in that middle lane.
Yeah, really intriguing to see the Pantheon locked in. That's our top 3 junglers, either banned or picked. We said Lee Sin, we see Pantheon, and of course Jarvan. Looking at the other side of things, actually Aurelia and Sonas. We have our confirmed bot lane. We have Graves and Sonas. It's going to be very pokey in the early game. And actually, our top laner is going to be Aurelia, something we feel like can go pretty even in almost every matchup.
So Aurelia, if it's not Wicked, Wicked really well known for Aurelia.
Yeah.
So is JWoww. And I would be really afraid to be going up against this for Fab5. I mean, Fab5 was a great player. He's been in the scene for such a long time, but he's going to really have a struggle here. It just depends on what he's going to pick up for this one. And the Sona, again, like you said, very pokey in that lane, going to keep Graves healed up quite a bit. The Crescendo, Cataclysm kind of combo, and the collateral damage off of Graves, not to mention the buckshot, is going to put a lot of hurt on the enemy side. And you know what? They're already very squishy, and that's maybe why you're seeing this champion hovered over right now as their last pick.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to be seeing a Malphite in that top lane. And I feel like it can complement their situation. We're going to be seeing... I'm assuming that wasn't going to... For a second there, I thought we were seeing Pantheon top Malphite jungle, and I was getting a bit shaky.
Oh God, I hope not. Malphite jungle, if you thought Pantheon was kind of slow,
yeah,
Malphite's a lot worse.
He's rock steady. And yeah, I mean, looking over...
Like, he's as fast as a rock is in the jungle.
It's exactly what it is. Just needs a bit of a hill to get going, But other than that, you do see our confirmed lanes. It's going to be... I mean, talking of matchups, you've already highlighted the Zed and Jace matchup. You see that WTC has opted for that exhaust, which is always seen as that anti-Zed summoner. It did get chopped down a bit. What used to be 50% damage, now it's 30% damage reduction. But I still feel like that's a good start, especially when you said already, Jace needs to get ahead early. And he needs to do something to stop Perkz once he hits that 6. And I think with the exhaust, he's going to be able to have a bit more of a presence in that mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think now we've talked about the mid lane, just an adequate amount here. I want to talk about the top lane right now because we have Aurelia up against Malphite. So I said this before with you, Aurelia, she really doesn't have ever a losing lane. Like she won't ever really fall super behind and just completely do jack squat the rest of the time, unless the jungler just kind of camps her forever. But hopefully with no pauses, we'll kick this off. Just to remind you what we're doing here. This is the League of Legends Turkey International Invitational, and this is going to be hopefully an exciting best of 3 here between these 2 teams. Gamers2 over on the blue side, HWA over on the red. And just to go to the lines for you guys at home who might not be too familiar with these teams, we have over on Gamers2, JWoww and Aurelia in that top lane, Ku on Jarvan in the jungle, Perkz on Zed in the mid lane, Kobe on Graves, and Casing on Sona in that bottom lane. Why don't you walk us through HWA here?
Yep, so HWA Fabulous, the top laner who needs no introductions from, of course, the top Turkish team of Dark Passage. And then over in the jungle, Storm Edged on Pantheon. You can see he's actually having a little exchange with his counterpart, Ku. As, of course, in that mid lane on Jace, WTC, or Wutchen, if we wanted to try and pronounce that. The lack of vowels makes that pretty difficult.
We'll stick with WTC.
I think you're right. Over in that bot lane, of course, we have the ever-powerful Corki in the hands of Zeetnot and Lelouch is going to be on that Janna in the bot lane.
All right, so about minute 30 in here, just taking some time. Hope you guys are enjoying your days so far, and hope you enjoy the matches we have for you today. And we're going to see, it looks like Stormedge start over at his red buff, and we're going to see Jarvan start over at his Gromp. So we're going to be going for his blue camp here. Both junglers going to be going for the same kind of path. And we can already see the wards on the map as well, that they're kind of just defensive, First map, no need to rush your thing, no need to get too aggressive here, no need to really, kind of put yourself at a deficit from the get-go. So play it safe and see how it goes from there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, in that bot lane as well, of starting up on the Krugs and Gromp respectively. So it's actually kind of a battle to not take take the least amount of damage when doing this to get that kind of early game advantage. And it looks like Lelouch had to pay a pretty heavy price in order to take that one down. It feels like Gromp does do an incredible amount of damage, but with 3 biscuits and a mana pop before the lane, she's going to have plenty of sustain.
Well, that's what we talked about before, the sustain versus no sustain, and Sona makes it that much easier to take something like those double camps. So getting the level 2s in that bottom side. Gamers2 off to an early start here, trying to force Sight not back, and you can see the poke already coming out of casing, trying to really assert that dominance.
Yeah, that's what you need to do in the early game, especially on Sona. Your whole presence needs to be forcing the enemy team back, forcing them to kind of decide between losing health or getting CS, and that's the power casing needs to kind of use. And also it's going to be forcing Lelouch to use his shield defensively. And
you can already see them just zoning them out a little bit here on that bottom side. Let's take a look at the top lane right now. Let's actually just kind of keep in mind what's happening up there. It's already a 12-8 CS different, or 12-8 CS lead here for JWoww. But again, that's kind of what we expected. JWoww, very strong top laner, can play anything, and Aurelia is one of his most played and one of his, I guess, favorable champions. And against a Malphite, not necessarily an easy matchup, but now look at this Coup going for mid lane gank already.
Oh, WTC could be in trouble. The Ignite's here. The flash is forced, and they're going to have to back away from that one. They don't dare go under the turret, especially at just level 3, but they've forced a whole lot of summoners. Taking the flash away from Jace is a big deal now, and that means we're probably going to see a return to the mid lane from Coup before that 5-minute mark.
Yeah, and I think we called out, outright, we're going to see Stormage keep farming up, trying to hit that level 6, and we're going to see Coup be aggressive, try to provide some early ganks and facilitate something. So he gives, his teammate Perks a little bit of a lead now, gives him that flash advantage. But Perks now down his Ignite. And, WTCN, luckily, he was able to keep his exhaust up, so he will have that for another re-engage if it is a one-on-one. But not really expecting that to happen.
Yeah, it seems pretty unlikely at this stage, of course. Coup now, the 2 junglers kind of meeting, clashing heads once again in that middle, just batting for vision. And as we reach that 4-minute mark, you can see just the Pantheon, who's yet to make an appearance in the lane, in high contrast to Coup. And you already called it in the start, Jason. You said we're not going to see too much from Pantheon in the early. And that's certainly what we're seeing at the moment. Much more from Coup, as actually you can see in the terms of junglers, they're both going to be going back to base at the same time. Be interesting to see what the shopping is done. See what they opt to buy. Stalker's Blade picked up for Pantheon. No surprises there, and actually the same for Coup. They're really kind of choosing to go for this because of that slow. So effective in closing gaps, especially on Pantheon where you're trying to just get in range for that stun. You can slow them from a distance and pick that one up. And
too bad it's actually being nerfed from 50% to 20% in the latest patch. So yeah, I don't understand what Riot's doing with all the jungle items, but the Hunter's Trailblazer was nerfed, and then now the Stalker's Blade. They're really trying to make junglers pick certain things differently. And well, either way, continuing on to this game here, not hitting that 5-minute mark, relatively quiet for the most part. Again, Coup has made his presence known in that middle lane, but right now we can see Stormage potentially coming around for a gank as well here, trying to go in straight towards WCCN. Probably going to come over the wall, getting the exhaust onto Perks, get some very low in HP, and the smite comes in to slow him down here. And the damage is almost nuts from Stormage, or sorry, from his teammate WTCN. But either way, they will just back away from this one. I'm not going to commit too much here, and Perks, he's going to have to head back to base.
Yeah, Perks has to be cautious. There's still a Jace in lane. You can't go recalling right by the turret. You can see how far back he's been forced, just knowing the WTC has that potential poke. And you can see, I was questioning why Storm did the, Storm, why he did the smite, why he made that move, and it was obviously just because he wanted to get him as low as possible, a tiny little increment lower, so that perhaps the Jace poke was going to finish him off. Didn't quite though, and as we say that, we can actually see JWoww using his TP to get back to lane and keep that farming advantage. I say farming advantage, actually CS has leveled out almost entirely, 41 now to 39, and some shopping's been done. Sheen and Giant's Belt respectively, and those are pretty standard build paths for both of those champions.
Yeah, to me the Sheen, it's like saying for JWoww, I want to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
A phase gives you more health, it gives you the potential to chase, but the Sheen's like, I want to burst you down, and I want to Blade Surge these minions extremely quickly and easily. And I wouldn't be too surprised, to be honest, to have JWoww start to build up a little bit of a lead here in CS.
I think you're right. I think now Aurelia has got something. So I say something, has got that Sheen. She's going to be able to just dish out so much damage. Look at this damage she can exert. Just a couple of Blade Surges, giving her that Sheen proc that she needs on her auto attack. And it's just that little bit of damage, that little bit of extra oomph that now enables her to push Fabulous away from the wave and start building a bit of a CS advantage.
Yeah, and as long as JWoww keeps auto-attacking, he's going to keep healing up from his heat and stab. But look at this now. We have Stormage coming in mid lane for a gank here. And he will actually just back away. In the meantime, Tom played and Fabulous getting very low in HP, forced to, looks like, ultimate away and just to survive that. And this is just what we talked about. You know, the Sheen trying to go for kills, and this CS lead is going to start to just grow. He luckily has teleport up, though, so he will return to lane and not miss out on too much, but the tone has already been set.
Yeah, and that's kind of the battle for top lane, really. It seems to be very much just, it's all about pace. It's all about those first 5 minutes, and one advantage, one kill, or even just a couple of CS can really turn the tides on that top lane presence.
Take a look at Ku. Look what he's doing. This is kind of what we expected out of him, to be aggressive, get some wards down, you know, kind of counter jungle if it's possible. And he's going to be going for the wolves. So he's trying to really keep Stormbridge back, or on the back foot, not allow him to hit that level 6 as quick as he possibly can. And that forces Stormbridge to make the decision, do I just wait for my camps to come up, or do I go for these lane ganks, or these ganks in general, to try to hopefully pick something up and get that level 6.
You can see the damage just exerted straight onto the face of Zeetnot. So, oh, look at this, aggressive from Ku. Flash used as well. Look, forces Perkz to use his ultimate, trying to take WTC down and out, and they're not quite doing enough damage just yet. Ku left to finish off the job. He does. A little poke from his spear is all it takes to finish that one off. And 8 minutes in, first blood to G2.
And I have to give credit to Perkz, not for that fight right there, but just for the fact that he's been just abnormally aggressive. Just out of nowhere, out of the blue, like without having a jungler there. He just kind of dashes past with his Shadow Clone, and then hops to it, and then tries to go chase Jace away, and that really makes WTCN, you know, kind of be really scary. But Stormbridge getting dove middle here, and that's going to be another kill coming in.
We'll have to see how that one forged, as Ku and Perkz very strong as this kind of mid to jungle synergy, and looks like Perkz is going to be starting strong. We said that Zed wants to get ahead early. He's got to pick, well, opted for the Brutalizer as opposed to the Cutlass as his first item, and that shows he wants flat AD. And he trusts Ku's ganks, so he doesn't quite need to do it all on his own.
And this is looking really bad now for Gamers2. You know, keep in mind what we said earlier, guys. If Zed does start to get fed here, he will have that potential to just 1v1 WTCN, gank these other lanes, roam around. And now, you know, Stormbridge, he's going to have to commit a lot more time to his middle lane. So that means top lane won't get as much love from him. HWA starting to build up that lead now. Bot lane won't get as much attention as you see the CS lead building up for Kobe. And this game, it's just slowly starting to snowball. I mean, look at Zed and Jace. Look at the CS difference now. 64 to 45. Yeah, he's been ganked once, but this is just raw skill right now, excelling for Gamers2. Yeah,
absolutely, no doubt about it. And the CS lead, actually all across the board, it seems to be favoring Gamers2. As you can see, even in that bot lane, 78 now to 65. Zeetnot starting to fall behind. That's almost 15 between them. And the mid lane, of course, has been highlighted already. 73 to 49. WTC forced to be very cautious, really, in terms of kind of sitting in lane. He's had this overly aggressive Perkz, which has put him a little bit paranoid, and it means that he has to really consider the risk before he takes every single CS.
And we should take a second now, as we're about to hit that 10-minute mark, to wonder what's Gamers2 next plan.
Yeah.
What are they going to go for next here? And Dragon is a possibility. They know they have the teleport advantage top lane. But I think they're looking for a kill here. As you see Ku, he's already heading down towards that bottom side. He's looking for a gank here to transition straight into Dragon. But look at this. He's on top of a ward. He won't have that opportunity. And even Sona up towards the top side, Casey just kind of sitting in the river waiting for his moment to get that crescendo over the wall. Yeah, and there's such kind of playmaking potential here. Stormide doesn't want to fight with this low HP, doesn't want to take that risk. They've got the knowledge. They know Ku is sitting pretty, waiting to surprise them. And I guess he's going to go back and get in range for that man drop. Was he able to buy? I think he got like another longsword too. He has headed back down towards his bottom side, Storm-aged. You know, looking solid so far. He's not having a terrible game. Yeah, he has one death, but he's keeping up in farm. He's keeping up okay in levels. He's down 1 right now, but he needs to be the big playmaker. Like, that's the problem we were talking about before. Pantheon, what lane does he have to gank? And if anything right now, all he's able to do is go for counter ganks. And he's going for that man drop bottom here, looking for someone, but it just falls a little bit too short. He was just getting CS. He was there just to take a minion. Just ult for 1 CS. Yep, that's all he needed. As actually, Cassing not getting caught out. He does connect the spear, though. Yeah, they're trying to, I think, keep him around, bait him in a little bit just to kind of apply this pressure, keep him out of farming potential. And like I said, WTCN going to be able to spot out a pink ward there in river. But Ku again, you know. Look where he is. I hate to be right, but I love what I am here. And you're seeing Ku just invade yet again. Put deep wards in. He has a ward near the red camp to just spot when Stormage is going to be going for that that buff. And he's going to try to counter if he can. He knows he has a roamer with his mid laner Perkz right now on the Zed to allow that.
And that's a real threat, I think. It's worth highlighting that actually Ku could be in a spot of bother here. Fabulous is just going to make an appearance, and he's just so tanky. Got a Sunfire Cape completed, and he's going to be a bit of a bother for Ku. 2 longswords and a Stalker's Blade to his name. He's just going to be forced to back away, as that Sunfire Cape did tick away a little bit. But nothing to report back to, nothing to write back home about, as WTC is trying to close that gap in CS, and he's not managing it just yet.
No, and I don't think he will catch up. If the game keeps going like this, Perkz just keeps zoning him away, keeps doing some really good damage to him, and just keeps this pressure on. He also has a build with a Cutlass now completed, so the potential to pull off these 1v1s has kind of skyrocketed. And you can already see the damage being done to him in middle right now as he gets dropped just on the link side of your screen. And he's going in for the kill here, and he will pick it up, but it will cost him his life.
Oh, and it was such a kind of give and take. WTC going down, but Perkz sacrificing himself for it. That's such a deep dive. I think that's really a case of mind games. You know, if you're saying, oh, you think you're safe under your turret, let me show you why you're not.
All right, so, you know, that thing is, it's like nice he can pick up the kill for that, but you don't want to lose the lead that you're building, right? So, yeah, he's about 20 CS ahead. Yeah, you got the kill off of that, but he also gets, you know, WTCN, you know, a little bit of extra gold, a little bit of extra time to build up an item. He has the Brutalizer and the pickaxe now. I mean, when that Mana Mune's done, he's going to do some fairly good damage as long as he can hit his poke. Oh. And that might mean Perkz can't go in.
Ku was worrying me there as he's trying to just taking risks doing those Krugs, as his health fallen pretty dangerously low. In terms of actually clearing, you know, we've seen a lot of Ku's presence in the enemy jungle, making Stormage maybe kind of cutting down on some of the camps that he can clear, but still CS is relatively level. The gold's going to be a little bit in favor of Ku, courtesy of that kill. And in fact, he's managed to complete that Stalker's Blade with the Warrior enchant. And he's actually picked up a Sightstone. So that really highlights how much he plans to how much time he plans to spend in the enemy jungle.
Exactly, and you can already see the wards on the top side of the jungle currently. Teleport coming down bottom side, though. They're looking for the gank with the man drop here, and this is going to be bad.
This is really bad. Casting's going incredibly low. Lelu just trying to sustain Xehanort with that ultimate, and 2 down, and that's going to be kind of starting that snowball rolling straight on in towards the Dragon, as I do miss that kill. I have to apologize, guys. This is my observing debut, and there's going to be a couple of slip-ups, I don't doubt.
Meantime, Dragon being done here for HWA. Ku trying to go for the steal here. He does have Smite up. Doesn't have Flash, though, so he would be almost going for his certain death. But in the meantime, HWA pushed top lane, got the turret down, and he's continuing to push here. He has 2/3 of that Triforce now done, and you can see how well he can punish. You know, Fab is teleporting out of that lane.
Yeah, and he kind of shows the presence Aurelia has. He was absolutely right. Fabulous. He did make a great move with that TP, there's no doubt about it, but great response from HWA, showing that there really is a kind of give and take with TPing towards that bot lane.
And the problem is, like, think how much they committed for that gank. A teleport, a Malphite ultimate, a Pantheon ultimate, just to pick up 2 kills. And right now, Ku, he's looking to go in middle here. The turret already very low HP, and WTC, and he can't survive this.
I feel like he's overextending with this one. Ku's surely going to be picking this one up. He does, tanking that turret just to secure that kill, and that's another dead Jace. 4 deaths already. We're only 15 minutes into this one, and WTC, we said he needs to get ahead if you want this poke comp to work, and at the moment, that is not what's happening here. Brutalizer pickaxe picked up from him. He's got his tier as well, but if you turn your attention to the gold, almost that one. In fact, 1,600 standing between them. In the meantime, though, Stormage flashed to finish off Ku under that turret. Bit of swag points from him as his muscles glisten on the Summoner's Rift.
I don't think Ku really expected that. I mean, I didn't expect that as well. And it's a ballsy play. HWA try to pick up kills where they can. Stormage able to secure his 3rd now of the game. And, you know, this is what's so weird about G2. Is like back when Onslaught was on SK, one thing SK did really well was feed him. Like get him going. You know, get the jungler there constantly. Hercubot was on the team then. And now Ku's doing the same for Perkz. So you can see the kind of reminiscing strategies from Ocelot when he was playing with them. Obviously now just being substituted in currently. But Gamers2, I mean, still looking strong. Yeah, it's 5-4. It's 16 minutes in. They're down 1 Dragon. But that goal difference is outstanding. The top lane CS is huge. And even mid lane is starting to really grow now.
Yep, CS is such a big deal in this patch. Global Gold has been kind of sliced down, cut down with the loss of Dragon. And so HWA, 165. That's almost more than, in fact it is, it's more than a CS a minute. A CS a minute?
I would hope you'd have more than CS
I would
a
be
minute. More than 16 CS
worried.
right now.
I would be worried if it was a CS a minute. But still, 165 at that 16-minute marker, just to 130 of Fabulous. And I mean, Malphite, I'm doing the air quotes, but Fabulous being a counter, Malphite being a counter to Aurelia, is debatable at this stage of the game.
Yeah, that Trinity Force just gives so much damage, and if he continues to build a little bit more, I'm assuming he's going straight tank here, but actually Ku getting caught out in the jungle here.
Looking fantastic. 1-for-1 exchange at the moment, but looks like WTC is looking for more putts, bashing him away. Looking to try and pursue him, but there's absolutely no way you can chase that Zed. Oh, and he connects. Huge amount of damage coming out on towards Perkz. Not quite enough to finish the job, though, as he backs away once again.
So 1-for-1 trade. Both junglers going down, and that will be another kill added to Perkz' scoreboard. 4-1-2 now for him. He had so much money to spend. Blade of the Rune King was even there for that fight. But I feel like they're just really pushing this too much. They're trying to force these kills where they just can't get them, or at least safely, and that is just slowly allowing HWA to kind of get back in the game. But, you know, you got to give credit to G2. They're trying to force this pressure. Look bottom side. Look at that Malphite. Look at Fabulous trying to go for the ulti over the wall, trying to go for something here, but now forced to back away as it looks like G2 have kind of read into it a little bit.
Yeah, I think they knew that there was a missing Malphite. There was a kind of huge presence disappeared from the top lane, and Fabulous, kind of rightfully so, moving to try and support that ball and try and get the ball rolling in that ball, which has been a relatively quiet affair so far. 17 minutes in. It's 2 assists. Well, there were 2 deaths. We saw that double kill actually from the gank from, I believe it was Stomp. In the meantime, talking of the man, doing huge damage to Aurelia. JWoww. Oh, look at the damage JWoww can exert. This is going to be bad.
Now they're going back in here. Perkz is joining the party. That should be Jace going down, but Malphite using the ultimate. Fab is trying to stop the kill onto his teammate. Perkz connects his Qs. Is it going to be enough as he dives in, actually uses the R to get back from his clone, and that would be Zeit not picking up a kill, looking for number 2 onto JWoww, who gets the Blade Surge away. And that should be them escaping, but Janna chasing, getting the slow onto JWoww, going to get healed up from Sona, knocked up on top of the Rocket's going to be missing here, and JWoww, one more hit, and he will fall from that. And that would be an advantageous fight here with a 2-to-1 trade in favor of HWA. However, they have lost their bottom turret.
It's a kind of 1-for-1 exchange for turrets. 3 now in favor of G2. Just 1 picked up by HWA. Kills are level. Gold isn't, though. 30,026. Talk about that in a second as Kobe is about to be disappeared from the map. HWA winning out and actually catching Kobe out, who's been a pretty safe and pretty cautious AD carry prior to this.
Yeah, I'm just really confused at why G2 is constantly just getting out of position. And again, they're trying to force kills that they necessarily should not be going for, and HWA are just taking advantages. We talked about it yesterday. This is a game of mistakes, you know, League of Legends. And HWA are capitalizing off of quite a few of the mistakes of G2.
No doubt about it. It seems like G2, they had an advantage, and they technically still do, but it does feel like HWA are just picking up what G2 are putting down, and G2, they're not really feeling like they were playing the biggest advantage that they had. I mean, they have a Fed Zed, 4-2. He's got a huge amount of gold, most gold on the Rift, I believe, 7,700. So huge amount of gold for him, and he's got his Blade of Rune King complete. And yet I feel like Perkz doesn't have the support. We saw in that team fight, he was down and out so quickly and pushed out of the fight just with that damage from both Pantheon and Jace.
Yeah, he needs to, I guess, pick a couple of smarter fights here. Be a little bit more knowledgeable about the situation that you're in. And, you know, with JWoww committing towards that mid lane, he misses out on a lot of CS top lane and a lot of pressure that he's been able to apply. And, you know, JWoww, he could split push. We're on the side of HWA. They don't have anyone that can do that. HWA, they want to be going for these team fights. They want to have all their ultimates together, and, you know, not to mention the poke, and force G2 to play defensively. But, you know, I feel like just send JWoww top lane, keep having him push. He doesn't need to be here for these fights. You can depend on Perkz with those 4 kills to pick you up a kill or 2. And then JWoww will keep the pressure top side, forcing HWA to make a choice. Do we want to defend top, or do we want to try to go for a 5-on-4 fight middle?
Yeah, it's a decision to be made, and they look to be turning their attention towards Dragon. You see how much vision that HWA have been battling for, and actually looks like a Mandrop's going to be making his way in on towards Perkz. Stomach just trying to close the gap, and Perkz has used his ultimate. He's trying to take down Pantheon with him. He knows he's in trouble. TP coming in. This is going to be a dangerous fight for HWA. Xenot's going low. Perkz is surely going to be going down at the end of this. No, WTC doesn't quite have the damage, and now Lelouch is in trouble. Aurelia on the pursuit. JWoww is there. Kobe now backing up his Aurelia, but it looks like it's going to be a whole crescendo to wrap it all up, and it's all said and done, 4-0. A beautiful execution from G2, and they're going to take a Drake off the back of it.
And that was HWA going for the fight when they didn't need to. They tried to commit onto the kill for Perkz, and you saw Stormage. He just instantly blew up from that one.
Yeah, and that's the kind of danger that can be there with Pantheon. You've got that man drop. You have that feeling like, I need to force a fight. This kind of mindset where you always need to be fighting as Pantheon is, and it's not necessarily the best way to execute it.
Actually, I have to think back to that fight. So that was actually won by Ku. in the fight, if you want to think about it. I'll go ahead and actually bring that replay up in just a few seconds to show you why. But he zoned out Zeitnot and actually almost 1v1'd him. And I think he even might have been able to 1v1 him. So let's go ahead and switch over to my screen here and kind of show you what breaks down or what happened in that one to cause that fight. And there we go. So showing you, catches Zeitnot here, right? So we'll pause it. We'll show you. He's locked up. Corki's not allowed to do the damage to Perks. That's what they're kind of hoping for, you know, a clean, easy kill. Ku just keeps him low, gets him down to half HP, keeps him slowed, so he's currently away from Perks, so he can't actually get in. We see the teleport coming out JWoww towards the top side to join the party here, and they just force him back one by one. And, you know, great play by Graves. Watch the loot here. Actually gets caught by the buckshot to finish him off. And then Kobe able to get knocked away as WTC is like, yeah, I'm home free. Crap. There's a soda in front of me, and he dies from that one. So it's just really well played by the side of G2. And a really well played turnaround as well.
Yeah, it was. It was forced by HWA, and everything that they thought was right about that fight. As soon as the TP came in, I think they started realizing that it was not going to go in their favor. Of course, Fabulous does still have his teleport available, and that cooldown is now ticking away for JWoww. See if they can force something off the back of this. Looks like they're trying to connect onto Casting. Flash is forced. Doesn't quite get hit up by that Jace poke, and instead they're just going to back it away. And the blue buff does spawn. That's going to be perhaps a little bit of a consolation prize if they choose to take it. Instead, no, turning their attention to that mid lane. They want to start adding turrets.
And that was a man drop coming in from Stomage to try to get a kill there. In the meantime, Perks is pushing that bottom lane, so they're going to force a turret trade here. And Perks is going to take a tier 2 turret here on the bomb side. And I think that was JWoww actually tried to stop the back out of Fabulous, but unfortunately he could not. So we'll trade 1 for 1, but that's a win here for G2.
It's definitely getting that tier 2. They're going to be very happy with that. And of course, Zed's such a strong split push presence. Something that perhaps HWA do lack. They don't have that. They have their tanky top laner. And these Malphite definitely not going to be left alone.
See, that's why I've not been never been a big fan of like a Malphite top lane. Oh, actually, we're going to see a little bit of fight breaking out here.
This is the crescendo. They're using all of their eggs into this basket. G2 trying to do something. WTC trying to do as much damage as he can before he goes down. This is Fabulous's time to shine, and he's not doing it. Xenot flashing in aggressively. He wants to do something, but JWoww just slaps him with his weapon to finish that one off. And now, double kill already picked up for Stom. He's going to pay the price, though, and Fabulous on the pursuit. He wants to make JWoww pay for his triple kill, pay the price, and he flashes to slow him. I don't know if he's going to be able to close the gap as JWoww just a little too fast. That tenacity, reducing the time on that slow, and he's going to back away to survive yet another day.
And Perks was on hot pursuit right there to try to catch up to Fabulous, but unfortunately he could not, so be it. What, a 4-for-3 trade in favor here of Gamers2. And they do have the lead currently at 24 minutes in 15-11. Just to remind you guys, what we're currently watching here is the League of Legends Turkey International Invitational. We're into our last quarterfinal here of the tournament, with the semifinals kicking off tomorrow at 7 p.m. CET. This is only our first game here in this best of 3 between Gamers2 and HWA.
Yeah, and it's shaping up to be one hell of a best of 3. HWA, very hit and miss. It does feel quite literally, of course, with the Jason Corky, but it does feel like HWA, they have these glimmers of hope, glimmers of real sterling performance, and Gamers2 are kind of punishing these mistakes more than I feel HWA are. Actually, it looks like some shopping's been done. See a Zephyr picked up as the second item for JWoww, and that's an interesting buy, not necessarily something you see every single time you see an Aurelia. And I mean, is there a particular reason for that? Is it because he's so ahead with the 5-1?
It's because it's a perfect item to have for this team. So it reduces the duration of stuns, slows, taunts, fears, silences, blinds, polymorphs, and immobilizes. And he went for Ninja Tabi because he knows they're an auto attack kind of team here with the Corky and with the Jace minus the poke kind of composition or poke that they can provide. But the attack speed, again, it's just kind of an attack speed build. He does true damage to Malphite with his W up. He does true damage to Pantheon as well, and he just shreds through the AD carry in the mid laner. So just very smart pickup. If anything, he's going to be able to build up his random wins down, build up some armor, so he can be a little bit tankier to dive in. But he's 5-1-2. He's fallen behind in CS, but he's made up for that in kills.
Yep, fallen behind in CS, and you're absolutely right. He seems to be... JWoww went from one mode to the other. He went from sitting top lane, just getting the farm, to these...
To farming minions to farming champions.
Exactly. 5-1 now, and he's got a huge amount of gold in his bag. 10,000 gold, in fact, picked up at the 25-minute mark. It looks like JWoww potentially going to be going aggressive onto Fabulous, and it feels weird to say, but actually Fabulous is not going to have any of it, taking such a small amount of damage, as I think we have had disconnected players. He's not saying that one of his players from HWA is not in the game. So we'll take that short pause and highlight. Actually, I think it's time to highlight some of the shopping that's been done here, Jason. We were saying how tanky Malphite is, and the Sunfire Cape into the Frozen Heart. He's got Ninja Tabi as well. That's a huge amount of armor. If I only wanted to find out exactly how much armor
I'm going to guess.
Okay, go.
287.
285. How did you do that? Who is this guy?
I swear, I didn't, like, you can see my screen right now. I'm not looking at it.
That is impressive. Okay,
Nice.
so 285 armor. That is a huge chunk of armor. In Malphite, we said before that, yes, you have the true damage Aurelia is going to be
impressed.
You're
I'm
so
so
proud
impressed.
of it.
Look at him.
Wow. He's got his big, proud smile on. But anyway, incredible guesses aside. Do you want to play the game again? Do you want to see how much how much AD Zed has? He's got he's rocking a Blade, Yomu's, and a Last Whisper.
200.
You looked at my screen, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I'm looking at your face on our program monitor.
Okay.
200. I want to say 232.
244. Why are you so close with this? It's not as special as 285.
No, it's not special.
Okay. Either way, though, it's worth highlighting as we've already talked about
attack
his build. I bet you could. I bet you could.
1.6.
I don't want to play this game anymore, Jason. I have to find out. I have to check now. You can check for me.
1.5. Damn. That wasn't where I thought it would be. Anyway,
sorry. See, you've made it worse.
I
know.
know. I should have stopped with the one. I should have stopped with the one.
You looked so good, and it's all come crumbling down. I think we're all ready to go back into the game, though. We'll get rid of our horrible faces as we kick this one back off. Four turrets. Four turrets. I don't know what turrets are.
Wow, there's 2 Shens. That was 4 turrets.
4 turrets and 2 in contrast, though, for HWA. So they're kind of falling short on the objectives. They're also falling short in terms of team fights. As G2 looking to force something in this top lane.
Yeah, they committed actually a Pantheon ultimate bottom side to go for perks. Now that leaves this top turret all alone. This is going to be taken down here. Fabulous has to run away. He realizes he can't defend against it. And that'll be, again, another free turret off the back of perks and his aggression split pushing.
Fabulous is just a nuisance at the moment, isn't he? He's basically, because he's built so much armor, G2, they're not interested in fighting him. He is essentially just a big, tanky ultimate, and they just need to be aware of that. Don't want to be grouping up during team fights. And other than that, Fabulous isn't a threat. Because there isn't that follow-up.
They're not looking for a team fight right now for G2. They're like, all right, let's just let Perks keep pushing. When he pulls multiple people down there, we'll, push for another turret here. And, the tier 2 mid might actually be the next moment coming up in just a little bit here as you see the blue buff being stolen away. So WTCN won't be able to stack or get that cool direction. But look at this Engage breaking out middle.
This is bad. Lelouch's forced to flash away. Doesn't want to play that game as he lives to fight another day. Jake's not so lucky, though. As WTC went down, thrown onto a 35-second death timer. And now Zeke, you can see he's doing his best to exert that poke, but sustain from Sona is such a good counter to that. Yes, you're getting hit up by these rockets, but you've got a Sona, you've got casting just rocking that heal every single time it's off cooldown.
Actually, try to not see like a chalice or something for him to get that extra regen or of his mana come into this. But now with Dragon back up, looks like they might be going for their second stack of it. No one on the side of HWA even near to contest it. And that shows you the mindset of HWA. Like they... not defeatist, not giving up, but they realize, all right, we're in a bad position. We're behind by, a large sum of money, and not to mention kills that we need to play so careful. They need some sort of avenue to get back in this game here. And, if you can take a look at bottom on the Zeitnot right now, he is in a very dangerous spot.
Oh, God, he is in a very bad shape. Look, it's like he does have his support there. Jana doing her best. The Valkyrie was so aggressive trying to get away. Jana finishes the job.
What?
And Lelouch lives to fight another day.
Wasn't that one auto attack?
I'm pretty sure that was one auto attack.
Oh,
I just saw his health bar disappear.
God.
It's quite hard to believe that Perks, we know he's a presence. We know he's going to basically be split pushing unless they're really trying to force a team fight. And it took 2 members of HWA to take him down. And I'm surprised Xenot didn't manage to take him down. They ended up going to it.
So this is what happened there in that fight. So Perks went in on a Zeitnot. Zeitnot cleansed the ultimate out of him. He bought a QSS already. So he was forced into a defensive item that early on, so he didn't have his damage. But if he didn't have that defensive item, he would have died so much quicker that Perks would not have died at all. So you can see the investment into defensive item, kind of working out for him. But that means his presence in these fights isn't going to be as grand. Luckily, able to pick up that Infinity Edge, but he's lacking, a full item that his opponent Kobe has.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Triforce, Infinity Edge, though, such a strong set of items for Corki in contrast to the Last Whisper, the additional item picked up by his counterpart. It looks like it's going down near Baron.
They dodge the unstoppable force out of Fabulous, and they're going to be able to back away for this one. Yeah, they commit the crescendo, but that's the big engage here out of HWA, and now G2, Michael back, might heal up here. You can see in the minimap already they're sending Perks back down towards that bottom lane to continue to push here, but HWA, they're going for the push middle. They're trying to get them out of position. Yeah, they know that some recalls have been forced. They know that they've laid down some pretty good pokes, solid poke onto Ku, and he's not going to be willing to engage with that sort of health bar, and this is their time to really make a move through the mid lane. The recalls coming in all left, right, and center actually from G2, and HWA looking for the face turret. Yeah, they should be able to pick it up. Perkz is continuing to split push right now, and this is going to cost him Inhibitor. He needs to head back soon. You can see Fat is heading back to base now to stop him. Inhibitor not going to be taken, and even a little bit of aggression here as HWA is trying to chase in potentially to go for a kill or some sort of fight. And you can see they're still on the edge. Ku might be going for it.
He had 4 members grouped up. He had his Cataclysm available. Didn't want to take that risk, though. HWA has made an appearance. And look at Perkz. They just want to keep them here. As in the meantime, Xehanort going so very low. Monsoon's going to be maintaining him quite nicely. He's has 3, make it 4-man knockup from Ku. Is not enough. Fabulous getting away with just a millimeter of health. Cassing's in trouble now. Getting pursued by the entire HWA team. Perkz has to recall now to regroup and try and defend as the inhib is going to fall. And I cannot believe Fabulous's health.
I don't think this game's over just yet here. I mean, we did see Perkz pick up the inhibitor and the inhibitor turret on that bottom side, but HWA with him should be able to do quite well here. HWA already getting very low here. Perkz needs to do something to get this fight. Pops the ultimate on Xehanort, gets exhausted up, and he should be able to finish off Corki, but no, he goes down. And HWA are just trickling kill by kill here, and they can finish the game.
I don't understand what is happening here. The snowball started rolling, and it's rolling so fast, getting so big, and it's a big issue right now. HWA's kind of last-ditch attempt. He's trying to do damage to someone. Stormedge is not going to have any of it as that Nexus is falling, and all of a sudden, I don't know what happens. Blink and you miss it. HWA secure game 1.
And this is what we talked about so many times over the course of this week. If you lose a person by person by person towards that fight right there, you're